Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the next part. And I will do one thing. I will start importing the mongoose first of all, and then I will say constant user schema, and I will create a new mongoose schema over here, mongoose dot schema, and I will define the parameters which are required by a uh, user schema. So first of all, I will have the username. Type over here will be a string, and this is the first parameter. It is required. Today my autocomplete is not working fine. Okay, never mind. Autocomplete really makes the work easier. So when it comes to the uniqueness, I want each and every username should be unique. Okay, so I don't want any two users with the same username. Then I'm having the password over here. Okay, I'm making mistakes. Okay, so I'll do one thing. Type in the string required is equal to true. I think this much is enough. And I'll save this. Then I will say export default mongoose dot model, and over here I will give the name of the model username, comma user schema. Okay, so my user model is ready now. Then we have to create a model for the messages. So I will do one thing. I'll copy the same model over here, and I will just make some required changes. Hmm. I will give the name as message over here, and instead of the user schema, I will say message schema. Okay, so I will say the message schema. I will copy this. I will paste this over here. So now I'm having this message schema. Okay, so let's do one thing. So this message schema is dependent on the this conversation. So I'll do one thing. I'll go first for the conversations, and then I will come for the messages. Okay. So I'll copy this. I will paste it over here, and let me just create the conversations over here on the first place. So first of all, let me just remove this, and I will say conversation, and instead of the user schema, I will give the name as conversation schema. Okay, conversation schema. I'll copy this, paste this over here, and these parameters are not required. So I'll do one thing. When it comes to the conversation will basically have the participants, and participants are basically users. Participants, and so when it comes to the participants, it will be basically my users. So I will integrate the user schema over here. Okay, so I will say mongoose dot schema dot types dot object ID. Okay, so now what I'm doing, I'm just integrating my user schema inside of this conversation. So that's why I'm doing this, doing it like this. Mongoose dot schema dot types dot object ID, and over here I have to give the ref. Okay, so users ref of the user schema I'm giving, and then I will say required is equal to true. So when it comes to the giving the ref, this username should match with this model name. Okay, so this much is fine, I guess. And after that, if you want, you can give the timestamp as well. Okay, so one more thing, a conversation will have the multiple users. Okay, so array of users. So that's why put this inside of the array. So put this inside of the array. This is fine. And now I'll do one thing. I'll give the timestamp. So I will say timestamp is equal to true, and this parameter is not required. So this is basically what it will do. So whenever any conversation will be created, it will give the timestamp, like when it was created, kind of. So this much is done. So now again we'll go to the messages. So now I will come to the messages because Now these messages will have the I mean it is over here how we have used the reference of the user. So in the messages we will be use the reference of the user as well as the conversations. Okay, so we are using the reference of the two models, which is the user and the conversation. I will show you what is going on over here. So that's why first I went for the conversations and now I'm coming for the messages because I didn't want it to confuse you all. So I will have the conversation C is small. I will have the conversation parameter over here. So messages will have the conversation and over here, why it is not auto completing. So first I'm having the type mongoose.schema dot type dot object ID and give the reference of the conversations over here. Sorry, it's a conversation, not conversations. Ref of the conversation. And then I'm having the sender over here. So sender is basically the user. And that's why I'm integrating the user model over here. So sender is basically the user, then I'm having the text. The text will be like whatever is the text sent by the user, which is basically the message type is a string, required is equal to true, it can't be empty. And next we'll have the created at, and I will say type as a date, and default value of this created at will be date dot now. It will take the current instance when the message is created. Okay, so I think this much is enough what we have created. And yeah, let me just save this. So this is how we will create this model. So it's almost in 6 minutes, never mind. And okay, so now let's do one thing. Let's just create a middleware. So middleware is basically used for authentication purpose, so that we are not sending the messages without authentication, or we will use make use of this JWT token. So first of all, I will do one thing. I will say import JWT from JSON web token over here, and then I will import the user from the user model. So just give the .js extension. Sometimes it throws the error, so that's why. Then I will create a function over here. So I will say auth middleware over here, and it's gonna be the async function, and it will have the request response next parameters. And now, first of all, we'll try to get the token as a constant token is equal to request dot headers. Okay, so when it comes to the token, we always pass token via header. So I'll get the authorization. Okay, request dot header authorization I will get, and if the authorization is there, then I will make use of the replace. I'll say replace, and I will have the bearer, and don't forget to give the space, okay, after bearer, and I will replace it with the double quotes. And if there is token, if there is no token, then I will say return response dot status 400 dot send, or you can even make use of the JSON because we are dealing with the JSON data. And I will send a message over here, and message basically will say no token provided. Okay, so I guess this much is fine. And then we'll make user try and catch block over here. So if there is any error, we will just do one thing. We will just send a response dot status 401 dot JSON, and we will send one message, and that message will be invalid token provided. Okay, so I guess this much is fine. And now we'll try to decode the token. Okay, so we'll make use of jw.verify. So if we are getting the token, then we will pass the token which we have got over here, and then we'll provide the JWT secret. Okay, so I'll do one thing. I'll come over here, and I will just provide some random text over here for JWT secret purpose. You can provide any text, and then I will provide that over there, and then it will say user await user model which I have imported, user model dot find one, and I will try to find the decoded user ID. Okay, so I will not pass this garbage. I will pass this decoded dot user ID over here. And if the user has been found, or I mean say if the user is not been found, then I will do one thing. I will say response dot status 200, no, I will say response status 401, and I will send a message user not found. User not found. And if the user has been found, then I will say request.user. Okay, request.user is basically I will assign that user to this. So request.user is basically nothing but we are creating the middleware over here. Okay, so that means when I will authenticate the route, I will be putting this middleware on the routes. Okay, so I will have the I will create the routes over here. That time I put this middleware over there, and that time I will try to access the user with the help of the request.user, the user which we have found over here with the help of this. Okay, and once this process has been done, then I will say next. Next means just execute the next middleware or just proceed further or whatever that is. So this next plays an important role over there. If you are not putting this next, it will not go ahead. It will just it will halt over there only. So this next is important. Once you execute this function, just make sure that you're putting this next. Then only we'll be able to go ahead. Otherwise, it will not go ahead. And then we will do one thing: export default auth middleware. We are just exporting this so that we could use this elsewhere. So it's almost been 12 minutes. I think this much is enough for this tutorial, guys. I will show you all how to create these routes and everything in the next tutorial. So thanks just for watching.